I had every intention of making good on that promise. I had more than enough reason to believe I could. Though, admittedly, it wasn't too recently that I could say so with such confidence. It was no longer a mere slum rat's fantasy. Our ranks were getting stronger by the day. Discontent with the lawyer was up, but overall, so was our morale. I could feel it. The time was near. Though the biggest motivating factor lay elsewhere. In something that occurred about a month earlier. I had yet to share that little nugget with anyone else, though. This could be the key to bringing it all together. I need to keep my head in the right place today. It's Morgana's birthday above anything else. Planning this revolution can wait another day. I was probably a bit too eager to get started. My judgment clouded by anticipation. The very thought I could soon be someone of real significance. And that excitement had probably leaked a bit into my conversation with Morgana. If only I had understood. Had truly grasped the extent of my own capabilities, where it should have been in focus of my effort. Then perhaps we could have ended up on a very different path. I'll be into much later, much later, that I came to realize the error of my ways.
Tanya showed up. Get in here and give us a hand, would you?
I was engulfed in a scent of roasting meat as soon as I stepped through the back door at the brothel. It smelled like had even been seasoned with herbs, kicking my appetite into high gear. For the common man, culinary herbs were a delicacy, expensive, not something you could get your hands on easily. That went doubly so for us in the slums. This is much more elaborate than I was expecting. How did you even get all the supplies you needed?
It's mostly a mishmash of everyone's rainy day funds. Events like this are about the only way I can convince the girls to let loose. Everyone's also concerned about making sure they've always got plenty saved up, which ain't a bad thing in itself, but they're gonna end up stressing themselves straight to the grave.
I smirked. Marie's heart was always with the girls. Obviously, the party was still for Morgana, but parties were meant to be enjoyed by everyone involved, not only the star.
It would have been even better if we could have given all the girls tonight off and partied till we dropped. But unfortunately, business isn't strong enough to afford that. And I'd rather not deal with a bunch of blue-balled buffoons bitching at me about it either. So all the girls who couldn't take off are getting an extra slice of meat to make up for it. You're on cutting duty. And make sure to cut them exactly the same size. Not one in one blowing their chop about not getting their fair share. The fate of the party is in your hands. Don't fuck this up.
I get the feeling I'll be there punching back no matter how precisely I cut the meat. On a somewhat different note, I was surprised at herbs laying around.
Oh, yeah. Those are...
They were a gift from one of my rigs.
Hello, Ceren.
What's up, Jackie?
You obnoxiously perky as ever, I see.
That's how you gonna greet me, you big butt.
For a particular subset of our customer base, it's that relentless perk that keeps them perky.
I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a compliment.
Some girls have to pretend to be spunky airheads to keep those guys coming back. But you're a natural. That's impressive as hell.
It is? Oh, wait! We got that big boss's seal of approval! Woohoo!
I don't think you quite get it, Ceren.
You know how Ceren used to work up in the city? Well, one of our old clients followed her when she moved down here. And he's the one who gave her the herbs. Not the cheapo bottom of the barrel stuff either. This is some primo shit. Nice haul, Ceren.
You're right. You don't get this kind of aroma from a low-quality plant. It's strong enough, I almost wonder if people outside can smell it.
I bet we'll have at least a few customers drawn in thinking they were craving pussy only to find out they were really hungry.
Someone needs to get this woman a damn filter.
I really hope Morgs likes it. I know she used to hate even the sight of meat, but it seems like she's kind of gotten over that recently-ish.
People do change over time, so maybe she'll be fine.
Maybe she has some kind of traumatic meat-related past, and she's just now overcoming it.
Or something to that effect.
Oh, is that me?
Anyone can go. Go for it. Someone.
Oh, hey. We can do it together. That's so nice.
Go for it.
Some help with these dishes would be real nice. Oh, pick me! I'll do it. All right, Jackie. See you in a bit.
Shouldn't take long for her to make this place her home.
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. What, do you want her here or something? Do you not want her here or something? Because personally, I'm doing everything I can to make everyone here feel at home.
No, I never said that.
Why so serious? It was just a joke. I agree with you entirely. Girl like her doesn't belong in a whorehouse.
No, she doesn't. A while back, I suggested Ceren look into some other line of work to take up singing instead of prostitution. On her days off, she still went to the pub and performed, always to great acclaim. While it seemed she had seriously considered my proposition, a few days later she said,
I think I'd rather stick around at the brothel for a while. You and Maria treat me like family. And I want to be with my family, for now,
that's what she wants, that's her choice. I have no right to force what I think is best on her.
So, question.
Yeah?
Have you decided what you're going to give her?
I haven't the faintest idea what you're referring to.
Bullshit. I know. You know. I know you know. I know.
Ugh. Why does she have to be so damn astute? Or is it just that obvious? I hadn't spoken about my feelings for Morgana with anyone since I realized I had them. Not even Maria, my closest friend. But she had a way of seeing right through me. And while she often poked fun at me about the age difference, she never actually mocked me. Not seriously, at least. Though she did avoid bringing it up while Ceren was out, out of respect for her feelings. Pretty much all the other girls seemed to have picked up on it, so Ceren likely had as well. Then again, it was Ceren, so it's equally likely she had an inkling. After one particularly extensive round of teasing, Maria got on to say,
In the end, all that really matters is that you're happy. Sure, I'll feel bad for Ceren. But ultimately, me and you, we've been to hell and back together. If I have to pick one of you, it'll be you. And yeah, I know, cheesy as fuck. You don't have to tell me. But hey, there's still a chance Morgana will give you the most brutal rejection of all time. Hell, I'll call that one more likely than the alternative.
That was her way of showing support.
So, what'd you get her? As your big sister, I'd be happy to check out the present before you give it to her. Make sure you don't make too big an ass out of you.
Again, I'm older than you, and again, we're not related. I bought a necklace, as per your suggestion. Girls appreciate that sort of thing, don't they?
Most do. Me, I've got a taste for knives and other such pointy things. I doubt she has much interest in those, though.
Sometimes, what if you're actually a girl?
Excuse you? Who's the last guy you saw with tits like these? I'm pretty damn smoking if I do say so myself. You're telling me this body don't light a fire in your loins?
Not even a spark. I got so accustomed to seeing you over the years, you don't even register in that part of my brain.
Is that how it works? You spend so much time with someone you go numb?
Would you rather I did find you arousing?
Hell no! You so much lay a finger on me and I'll make sure you never get it up again.
Then don't bring up the subject. Why don't you choose to believe she means I won't get up on my feet again?
So,
So?
today's the day, right? You get her the present, then you finally tell her how you feel?
Excuse me? Why would I?
Don't be a wuss. It's about damn time you manned up and told her. I think you've got a better chance than you think.
Do I need to remind you how old she is?
Well, as of today, pretty clean adult. I was knee-deep in dick in that age.
You're comparing her to you.
The longer you hold off saying something, the more difficult it becomes. Break a leg! Party's gonna be in the back, so there won't be any customers around to interfere.
Alright.
Anywho, I've got decorations to put up. You get going, meat boy.
Waiting until she turns 16? Really be putting it off for too long? How do I even go about saying it? Assuming I actually did. Your face still isn't healed in 4 years. I'll take you as lifetime partner, Morgana. God, no, that's terrible. There has to be a better way to put it. So much for a nice, relaxing birthday party. We're going to arrive as the sun was beginning to set. Our preparations neared completion. Myself, Maria, Ceren, and a handful of other girls who didn't have to work were gathered in the back room. Dishes stacked with food lined the floor, and our group sat in a circle around it. Several different conversations going on at once.
I apologize for not being able to assist in any way.
Clara. Maria.
Apparently she went AFK?
Did she?
I don't see her here. Maybe she has internet issues?
She typed, "Be right back, 5 minutes."
Oh, then I go grab some water then. Let me know when she's back. I can't see the group chat from here.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed, Maria gets some of the best lines in the game. Knee deep in dick at that age.
Bet you if anyone tried to mess with her, she'd have the best comebacks.
Probably.
Right?
I'm sorry, I heard my dog fall down the stairs.
Is it alright?
Oh my god, is you okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she's just a bit dumb. She's okay.
Okay, that's good.
Aww.
Okay. Don't apologize, it's your birthday. Sit your little bum down and let the world revolve around you for once.
If you insist.
Atta girl. How about right down? Not in the freaking corner?
Hey, Morgana. There's a space next to me. It's a much better spot than over there in the corner. With easy access to anything you like to eat. Though I suppose you wanted to, I could get your food for you.
I'll sit next to Maria.
Don't think I didn't hear that.
Hey there, Morgs! How's the drink? Your head's spinning yet?
It most certainly is not.
Well, let's make it spin! Let's make the whole world spin! Whee!
Wine is only to be used for nourishment. It is not meant for base recreation. You shall be smitten down from above if...
It's fine, don't worry! Even God's taking a day off to get wasted out of his mind!
How dare you disrespect the Lord like that?
Eat! Drink! Eat! Drink! Eat!
Wait, stop. I can't.
Oh, I'm in heaven! My stomach's in heaven! Mwah! Ooh, yum! Mwah.
She's sound asleep.
Girl acts like it's her birthday we're celebrating here. What do you say? Want me to give her a good whack upside the head?
No, it's fine. Let her sleep. She looks so happy. I would almost feel bad waking her.
If you say so. You're the one in charge today. So, you and Ceren getting on alright?
Huh?
looked like you were trying to keep your distance a little while back. I don't get that impression from you anymore, but if there's any friction at all, don't hesitate to let me know.
I'm getting along fine with her now. If anything does come up, I will tell you.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad to hear it. With Ceren, it's, well, what you see is what you get. Once you get past that, there's never a dull moment with her.
Indeed. Although, it wasn't anything I did that cleared the air between us, but...
Oh?
Never mind.
Dee.
Where you girls, go ahead.
And this asshole thinks because he's paying, that means he could do whatever he feels like, and I'm having to tell him to back off and just, I can't believe some of these guys.
Not a girl?
I'm so sorry!
Oh, I've got a good one too. The other day, this guy came in totally shit-faced.
Wait, are you serious? Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? I'd have chased the pricks off if I'd known.
Seems like any time you get more than a couple of these girls together, conversation inevitably drifts back to work. Which of course is a subject Morgana's least keen on. Just looks like she wants to run away. Guess I gotta step in. You guys think you could maybe change the subject?
Like we have anything else to talk about.
Making the birthday girl with the hide in a corner defeats the whole purpose, don't you think?
Oh no, don't mind me. I don't have anything I want to talk about.
At least eat something then.
I've eaten plenty, thank you. I'm quite full.
And how about the cookies? They're barely sweetened and dry as rocks, but they're edible.
Papu, you little bitch! You got some stones to shit-talk my cookies to my face.
Stop it, Maria! Stop throwing things at me! For God's sake, can you not show a modicum of decorum for just one day?
Yeah, you're totally one to talk. You could try not being a massive dick for once in your life.
Name one thing I've done to warrant this kind of abuse.
You first. You're the one who started throwing accusations.
Miko.
There it is. Right on schedule. You two little lovebirds. Fight. Yeah.
We're not lovebirds!
Lovebirds! Ugh, I don't even care anymore. You are right about one thing, though. This is Morgana's day, so let's change the subject.
Like I said, I don't have anything to talk about.
Sure you do. You just have to look a little harder. Not saying you have to reminisce for us. It can be anything. Let's see. Here's an idea. Are there any guys you got your eyes on?
There is.
Holy shit. Who is it? Tell me, who's the lucky guy?
God.
Don't give me that look. I don't need your sympathy.
If you're gonna dream big, right? Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Pinning after the all-powerful, all-knowing God. I'm with you.
You bald-faced liar.
The grass may be hell of a lot greener up there, but it's a bit far, don't you think? You're better off settling for the weeds down here.
Did she just imply I'm a weed?
Say, the young man over.
Wait! Stop right there! Don't say another word.
Whoopsie. Me and my big mouth. I almost did your job for you.
Damn it, Maria. This is not good. Like, how am I gonna let her spill it on a whim? I have to do something before she has another slip of the tongue. Morgana. What she was trying to say is that I
have to go.
What?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Sure.
My sides ain't gonna last much longer if you keep this up.
This is no laughing matter.
Ow! What the hell? Don't throw things at me.
You did it first. Damn it all.
Now that was a good laugh. God, you're such a dork. How hard is it to just say it?
Been easier if you hadn't courted me like that.
You expect me to believe you wouldn't have done it without a little nudge?
I would have. Eventually.
Eventually ain't gonna cut it. Now's the right time. And don't worry, me and the girls won't make fun of you too much for getting your rocks off to little girls.
That's not the reason I like her. Besides, I would wait at least 4 years before.
Doesn't mean you can't tell her now. I think I'd do her wonders. Really. She's, well, you know. So I think knowing someone cares about her will lighten the load a bit. I mean, obviously we care about her too. She's like family. But there are some things sisterly love just can't hold a candle to. Mushy romance may not be my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean even I don't think it'd be nice to have something special every once in a while. When she comes back, give her the necklace and tell her how you feel. And if she turns you down, we can all have a good laugh about it.
Maria and a few other girls chuckled. My lips had twisted almost into a knot from sheer, overwhelming discomfort. But at the same time, I knew she had a point. I could say how I felt now just as easily as 4 years from now. Couldn't develop into anything else for some time yet, no, but simply letting Morgana know that someone cared about her, and her specifically, could very well lighten some of the load she bore. Although she had worn up to us, she had still very clearly kept herself walled off. Though she tried to pretend otherwise, she did still get rather gloomy whenever she passed by something reflective. If I could convince her that her physical appearance had no bearing on my feelings, then maybe, just maybe, it could clear away some of the clouds hanging over her. Possibly even light the way today when I could at least see her smile. The sort of motivation I needed. I'd do it. I'll tell her. Not only for myself, but for her as well. I can do this. And now I'm making myself nervous as hell. Calm yourself, Jacobal. This is nothing. You infiltrated Lord's manor for crying out loud. Telling a girl how you feel is considerably less likely to kill you. Even a child could do it.
You look so tense your nerves could snap at any moment.
I'm not! God damn it. Please hurry up, Morgana. I want to get this over as soon as possible. Was that a...
Sounded like a scream. Trouble with a client, maybe?
No. It didn't sound like that kind of scream. Something's wrong. I can feel it in my gut. Maria, I need you to take the girls down to the cellar. Now!
Alright, I'll send them down, but I'm coming with you to see what's up. It could just be a client causing a ruckus.
No, you go with the girls. I'll check it out. Now get moving!
Okay, I'm going. Wake up, Ceren. Come on.
Now! Following the first, there were several more screams intermingled with what sounded like men shouting from the guest room. Something very bad was happening out there. My sword is back at the armory. Damn it! Taking a brief detour to the kitchen to grab a knife, I then dashed to the corridor towards the source of the disturbance. Shoving my way past a several layer thick makeshift curtain. Mika.
No! Help!
Jordan.
It's Steve-back. I'm just a customer.
What the hell was I seeing? What is this happening? Avalon.
Is seriously all they got? My shit's worth more than most of this garbage.
Jordan.
Make the whores alive, you hear me? They'll probably sell for more than anything else you find.
They're laying waste to the brothel. Untrained, unarmed, and unclothed, the girls and the clients alike were helpless against the slaughter being rained down upon them. Bludgeoned, mutilated, massacred. A good dozen men, thieves by the look of it, had swarmed the brothel, utterly ravaging it. Blood splattered every which way, staining the colorful fabrics hanging on the walls. The stench of blood, screams of agony, cries of fear, and hoots of mad glee all blended into one sickening blur. Gah! I leaned to step into the chaos, but stopped myself at the last second. I was furious. Of course I was. I knew those girls, and this band of barbarians was slaughtering them before my very eyes. I wanted nothing more than to charge in and rescue all of them. But I also knew damn well that me charging there alone would accomplish nothing. God damn it! Why now? Why here? Why? And how did they get so many men in here? If there were any signs of organized movement, someone would have noticed. I would have heard about it. How did they manage to sneak past everyone we have on patrol? How is it even possible a bunch of damn bandits managed to organize the raid of scale without anyone catching wind of it? God damn it! There's no saving anyone in the guest room. Need to find whoever else I can and get them out through the back. As soon as I decided there was nothing I could do here, the next job was obviously to minimize any further loss of life. I knew logically it was the smart thing to do, but that knowledge didn't do anything to quell the anger whirling around inside me. Then another thought snapped to the front of my mind, rattling me further. Morgana! She said she was going to the bathroom, which meant she hadn't come this way. I so ideally hoped. But hope wasn't enough to overcome the fear that she had. I searched frantically for any sign of her. More panicked than ever, I realized I I knew exactly what one of those brutes could do to Morgana if they happened to cross her. A prostitute in decent health they would merely take captive. But seeing Morgana's face, they would assume she had common disease. I never kill her without a second thought. Morgana! I intend to take my search elsewhere. I set off, my shadow subtly darkening, but in too much of a rush to notice. Something seemed to crash into me from behind. The world flashed in and out of view. For a split second, the multicolored fabrics around me appeared in black and white. I barely held it on to my consciousness. A few seconds later, the pain set in. My gaze drifted downward to the curious protrusion of my stomach. The tip of a blade sticking out of my gut. Blood streaming along the metal surface. What? I twisted my body, distinctly aware of any minuscule movement of the blade, as if to raw flesh back out the hole that entered. It was almost enough to make legs buckle. When I finally managed to turn all the way around, there stood a large man, probably grinning. He kicked me backwards, and then ran his heel through the gash in my stomach. I let an animalistic howl. It was a pain unlike any I had ever experienced before. I felt as though I had been struck by lightning. The only thing I had room for in my mind was overwhelming agony. And before long, it reached its breaking point. Ugh! Damn it! And the whole world went black. Maria.
Jacopo! Wake up, please! Open your eyes! I can't have you dying on me too. I'm begging you, open your eyes! Jacopo!
Where am I? The back room. Oh, the brothel? I'm alive? Where is she?
Lie back down. Are you trying to kill yourself? You're hurt bad enough as it is.
I've been bandaged up. It's still bright red. I guess the bleeding hasn't stopped. I'm cold.
Swear to God, I was sure I had lost you.
Maria, are you crying?
You got a problem with that? Asshole.
I'm sorry. How many years has it been since I last saw her cry? It was back when she was 12, I think. Besides us, there are 2 other girls here. No sign of Morgana or Ceren. This can't be everyone who made it, can it? I had to see.
What did I just say? Lie your ass back down. You need to give it some time to heal before you move around much. Popo!
Ignoring Maria's plea, I stumbled my way towards the guest room, leaning against the wall for support. I'd evidently lost quite a bit of blood. I was freezing cold and constantly on the edge of vomiting. My body was heavy, like someone had strapped a boulder to my back, and my vision swirled, distorting with each step I took. I knew it wasn't that long of a walk from the back to the front, but it felt like it would take me ages to get down to this hall. Like I was on an endless march towards a vast, empty abyss. I braced myself. But what I felt when I stepped into that room was a despair too deep for words. The meager scraps of strength that had carried me this far dissipated. I slowly slid down to my knees. The door hung open, a blood-soaked curtain flapping in the wind. The deep crimson was a stark contrast against the brightly colored fabric. The girls had dyed it themselves. I can still remember Maria first telling me about it, however many years before, her eyes alight with pride. How, when you put a whole bunch of different colors together, made the place seem almost otherworldly. And the patrons who had been drawn in by this allure today had not found themselves in the land of milk and honey, but instead been cast into a pit of death. Several corpses lay motionless around the room, The faces twisted in agony, the eyes vacant. What the hell? Why? How could this happen? He asked, stupefied, neither expecting an answer, nor trying to place the blame on anyone's shoulders. His empty, meaningless lamentation, powerless as the man had uttered it. All of us felt the same way. Hopeless, helpless, horrified. Not more than an hour ago, we had been having a party for God's sake. Fooling around like a bunch of idiots, the girls complaining about their clients, plates of foods, especially made for her birthday. Her birthday. Where's Morgana?
I couldn't find her.
Why not?
I'm sorry, I looked everywhere. But I couldn't find her. I'm so sorry.
I wanted to tell her I wasn't blaming her, but I couldn't find the words. If anyone, it was myself I was disappointed in. How could I have failed to keep her safe? Why had I been unable to find her? Why was I so damn powerless? This was supposed to be a good day for her. I wanted to make Morgana's 12th birthday into a special occasion, something truly memorable, to celebrate the bright future ahead of her. And I failed, in the worst way imaginable. What was supposed to be a celebration of life had ended in a pile of corpses, most of the surviving girls taken captive, and a brothel in shambles. Morgana, who was all supposed to be for, was most likely dead as well. She was dead. Morgana was dead. Before I had a chance to say something, anything, the girl I loved was gone. All because I was weak. Because I hadn't been cautious enough. Because I was completely, utterly powerless. And now she was gone for good. Before I managed to make her smile even once, I was gonna show her the world? How full of myself was I? I hadn't done a single damned thing for her. Physical strength was meaningless for what I wanted to achieve. I could was be number 2 in a little band of peacekeepers if I couldn't stand up to a pack of bandits. I didn't have any real power. I was worthless, helpless, weak. My sole job was keeping this place safe. It was painfully clear now how unsuited to the task I was. My initial fears were right. It was only the 4 of us that had made it through the assault. Mira said that, when I made it to the cellar safely, they were soon discovered that most of the girls taken captive, Ceren included. If only she had quit, left the brothel, taken up singing at the pub, then she could have been spared this. Spared having to be kidnapped for a 3rd time. But because she thought of us as family, because she cared about and wanted to be with us, she was taken away. If I had power, this could have all been prevented. Not physical strength or skill with a blade, but real, meaningful power. Political influence, import. If I weren't a peasant, no one would dare stand up to me. No petty thieves would ever consider raiding my property. I could have hired guards to watch over a brothel. The only reason I adored that reprehensible man was still alive was because he had real power, enough to ensure his own safety. If I had that kind of power, everyone would still be here, safe and sound. I could have made certain of that. Maria wouldn't be crying. Jane would still be part of our family. And Morgana, will still be alive. She'll still be by his side. The one simple thing could keep anything like this from happening again. In short order, Gratien burst into the brothel. Seeing the carnage, he wailed in grief, which quickly transformed to fury. I watched on, only really half paying attention as he raged. He marched over and said something or another, though I couldn't say what. After that fact, Maria told me that I'd been in stupor the whole time Gratien was there. He apparently tried to cheer me up, though soon found himself frustrated and finally disappointed in me. It took 3 days for me to get back on my feet. There was no sign of Morgana's body anywhere in the ruins of the brothel, which meant there was a chance, however slight, She was still alive. I clutched tight to that tiny sliver of hope, searching desperately for any sign of her. Maybe she had realized something was wrong and gone into hiding. But no matter how many people I've talked to, no one has seen anyone who matched her description. She was gone, like a puff of smoke, which left two possibilities. Either she had been taken along with the other girls to be sold off, or she had been killed and her body disposed of somewhere out of sight. But the latter seemed significantly more likely. Deep down, I still yearned for even the slightest trace of her. Maria encouraged me to let go, to move on, though I knew well enough to know it wasn't out of lack of compassion. The whole affair had visibly taken its toll on me. One day, about a week later, my wounds still healing, I made my way through the slums. Nestled away in the alleyway stood a nondescript little shack. I knocked on the door. A few moments later, it slid barely half an inch open, just enough for the sole resident to peer out at me, suspicion clearly visible in her eyes. But once she realized it was me, warmth filled her gaze. She waved for me to come inside. I gestured that somehow made it feel like I was being invited into another world entirely. Beyond the door stood a noble woman, who held herself with an elegance and grace unbefitting of the slums. By darkness, I felt right at home. Go ahead, Clara.
I heard about the attack on the brothel, and that you were hurt. I'm so glad to see you're well.
You're concerned about my safety? The wind pulled back her hood, revealing her face. Though age has clearly begun to take its toll on her, there is still a striking beauty to her, a kind of beauty impossible to attain down here in the dregs of society. Her hair is burnt brown, her skin dark, her facial structure somewhat similar to mine. I remember then that this wasn't the first time I'd seen her. Though it was fairly recently, not many years ago, she would have had me believe. We briefly crossed paths on the day of the Midsummer Festival. The woman I bumped into, that was her.
Of course, show me a mother who is not always concerned about her child's safety.
The woman's name was Ginevra, and she claimed to have been maidservant for the previous lord. It was unusual enough for someone of her stature to be living in a rundown shack in the slums, but her story got even stranger. She had supposedly had intimate relations with him. She had born his illegitimate son, and a month earlier, she had come to me and said I was that child. Said the woman had never seen until a month ago.
Physical distance has no bearing on a mother's love. If you had gone to speak with the Lord and revealed your lineage when I first came to see you, you would never have been in that kind of danger.
Ginevra spoke as though she had knew exactly what had been going through my mind this past week. There were words that had dominated my thoughts as I looked out upon the wreckage. If only I had done as she said and asserted my nobility, I would have had the power to prevent the attack on the brothel, to protect the people I loved. What Ginevra said was true. The Barnier family once possessed more land than even the king. That land, and the family, was divided up between each of their sons. The Barniers were only a few generations removed from the current royal family, which is why they controlled so much land in the first place. That meant, though it had diluted with each successive generation, there was still royal blood in the Barnier's bloodline. And a child begotten by the previous lord was more than entitled to a place among the nobility. However, realistically speaking, even I had lent my ear to her cajolery wouldn't have changed anything. Or worse, I could very well no longer be part in this world. I wasn't stupid. This noble woman, she was just using me.
There's still time. Go to the Lord's manor, show him.
I'm not really your son, am I? Ginevra fell silent for a moment, observing me. I had no memories of my mother. Sure, it might be nice if she were to show up back somehow, but it just wasn't likely. The whole story is extremely contrived. The sun could decide to rise from the west one day, and there would still not be a drop of noble blood in my veins. I knew perfectly well how filthy blood in me was. discussions would progress much smoother. We both know what the other wants out of this arrangement. Stop and tell me who you really are. Were you actually a maidservant for the previous lord?
Yes, I was.
She gave me a nod and walked over to a grimy shelf and retrieved a ring that looked very much out of place. It was made of gold, engraved with elaborate insignia. There wasn't a metalworker anywhere in the slums, or the city proper at least, who could craft a piece so intricate.
Look at this. It's the Barnier family crest. The previous lord gave me the ring as a gift. And I've kept it ever since, even after our relationship was discovered and I was chased out. I didn't sell it because I knew I was with child. They will have no choice but to acknowledge you as the legitimate heir if you show them this ring.
Why'd you wait so long to come find me then?
I was afraid they might kill you if I brought you in as a baby.
Why were we separated?
Misfortune. One day, bandits came and kidnapped you. Presumably, they were hired by the Barnier estate because they didn't want your existence coming to light. I consider it a miracle you're still alive.
I can only imagine the stern look on my face as I listened to Ginevra speak. Part of me did indeed want to take everything she said as true. Want to believe it was so important. Want to grab hold of the fantasy that I did have some noble blood in me and never let go of it. And had I not come face to face with my own powerlessness a week earlier, perhaps I could have swallowed the delusion. Used as a stepping stone for my dream to show Morgana the world. You appear to have done your research. Not of any other family, to the best of my knowledge. Which does indeed make me a good candidate for you to step in and claim your stake on. I've already guessed your child, the Lord, has either passed away or never existed at all. It's probably true that you worked at the Barnier's manor. It's probably true that you had relations with the former Lord. You were chased out and now you live in poverty. You want to go back to your former, more comfortable life. While you're at it, take vengeance on the current Lord. Or perhaps you simply want the entire noble class to suffer. Specifics of your motives are irrelevant, though. Being a woman, you have no means to accomplish that yourself. So you came up with the idea of using a fake son. If your child was still alive, he would be right about my age, wouldn't he? It looks similar enough for you to convincingly claim we're related. But the biggest reason you chose me is because I made something of a name for myself. Because I was one of the people involved in inciting the revolt 3 years ago. Perfect choice to spearhead a revolution. How dramatic. The man who set the Lord's slaves free was secretly his family. The people would eat it up. So, how far off am I?
You're sharp for a filthy peasant. It would seem I chose wisely.
I was right. She's a manipulative, conniving shyster. Her insults didn't bother me in the slightest. Those words made so much more sense than any man claimed I had royal blood in me, that I was some kind of hero. Following suit, I twisted my lips up into a smirk. I was a filthy peasant, and I was fine with that. All I meant was that I had to claw my way to the top. I'm in. Ginevra and I discussed the details of her scheme, after which she gave me Barnier's ring. I doubt anyone would have ever imagined it would end up in the grimy hands of a slum rat. Once our discussion was done, I headed straight to the pub where the rest of the gang liked to congregate. Nika.
Good. Kobo. Should you really be on your feet so soon?
I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm so sorry about what happened at the brothel.
Is the gang here?
What? Yes, near the back.
Thank you.
Are you sure you're okay?
Jordan.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. You're just talking about going to whip your sorry ass back into shape. You ain't still moping, are you? I get it, kid. I do. It's bollocks. But you're a man. Instead of crying, you should be.
Gratien.
Yeah.
It's time we start ourselves a revolution. Are you just going to stare at me or actually say something? You're the ones always going on about revolution this, revolution that. Avalon.
I think it's called being shocked to silence.
You're serious about this, Jacopo?
You might want to joke about this sort of thing.
No, you're not. You sure as hell aren't, are you? Well, it's about damn time, if I do say so myself. I knew you'd come around eventually. I knew you wouldn't stay sulky forever. Things will get way better once we rip that fucker's head off. Should cut down on the number of people turning to thievery, so I'll never have to deal with something like what happened at the brothel again. Never again. You hear me?
Indeed.
What do you have in mind, Jacopo? Didn't you say we didn't help from a noble to have a chance?
We can figure that out after we crush the Lord's skull.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best plan.
What's gone into you all? You're always going on about how you want to stage a revolution, and now that we're actually talking about it, you're pussing out.
No one's pussing it out. It's just... Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a noble?
For real? Well, he got it all worked out. Why didn't you just say so? So, who's our guy? Who is the noble who agreed to give us...
The former Lord's illegitimate son.
His actual son? Really? That means he could legitimately inherit the lordship.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. How the hell did you get in bed with the biggest fish in the city? If you're telling the truth, this is huge. That don't just give us a leg to stand on. This puts the damn law on our side. So, how hard it'll be to set up a meeting with the guy? This ain't some measly uprising. If we're going to do with this, I'd like to see a royal sponsor for myself.
You were looking at him.
Say what?
I and the former Lord's son.
No way! Not a chance!
Seriously, kid? You need to find yourself a functioning sense of humor, 'cause that just ain't funny.
I'm telling the truth. And this ring proves it.
It's a nice ring and all, but how does it prove you're a Barnier?
Where did you... How? This is the real deal. I was a slave at the Lord's Manor for a while. I've seen the family crest enough to recognize it.
As I said, I'm not the kind of person to joke about this sort of thing.
What? So wait, you're really... Holy shit! I can't believe it! One of us is an actual noble! You always did seem a little not like the rest of us, Jacopo. More uptight.
Pretty sure I said the same thing when I first met you. That you looked like some rich aristocrat kid.
This is great, guys! We can actually do this! We can actually make this happen! Let's do it! Let's start a revolution!
Yeah!
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 Gratien?
Nah, it's nothing. Just surprised is all. Who'd have freaking thought? You? A noble? It's madness. How long have you known? And why didn't you tell me? I thought we were friends.
I only found out recently. I'm sorry for keeping it from you. It's all happened very suddenly. I was waiting for the right time to say something.
No need to apologize, kid. You just put the wind back in our sails. Don't think I'm gonna start buttoning her up just cause your bona fide stick up the arse tight now, though.
Of course not. The last thing I want to see you licking my feet.
Alright, fellas. We've got ourselves a noble. So let's set the date and get this ball rolling.
Yeah!
What had once been nothing more than a pipe dream was, against all odds, soon to be a reality. Everyone wanted the Lord removed from power. They were angry or frustrated on several occasions and even seriously considered resorting to another revolt to make it happen. But no one had been able to turn those emotions into actions, because they all knew a revolt was destined to be squashed before it made a difference. That there was no hope to be found down that path. But an actual revolution, that was another story. Especially when someone poised to take the Lord's place on that side. They had a fighting chance and had no reason not to take it. As the fire in their eyes swelled to a blaze, mine seemed to sputter out, leaving behind a withered husk. I felt as though I was sitting in a theater, watching on as the story unfolded before me. No, that didn't quite capture how I felt. I wasn't even watching with my own eyes, merely listening quietly as someone recounted for me their heroic deeds. The fact that I was an indispensable part of this operation still hadn't finally sunk in. And all I knew was that I wasn't completely powerless anymore. But while a fiery passion and hope for the future filled Gratien and the rest of the gang, a dark poison of revulsion for God and fate streamed in to fill the hole left in me by the attack on the brothel. Preparations proceeded smoothly, with Ginevra providing insight, information, and guidance. As I expected, there are a not insignificant number of nobles dissatisfied the way Barnier ruled. They were constantly looking for a way to eradicate the cloud of pestilence hanging over the land. However, the Lord had eyes everywhere in the upper circles. He was especially mindful of who would associate with whom, and how often. Any signs of opposition was swiftly dealt with before they had a chance to pose any threat. So nobility he didn't need an outsider, someone the Lord wasn't on the lookout for, to step in and assert power. Ginevra arranged for several guards and attendants within the Lord's manor to betray him on the day of the revolution. He'd open the doors for us from the inside, which stormed the manor. Structurally, the plan was similar to a slave revolt. Two major differences being my role. and the Lord's death being our primary goal. As the day drew nearer, it was all anyone in the slums seemed to be talking about. Though we did our best to encourage everyone to stay quiet, so as to not alert the Lord, it's impossible to keep the excitement contained. It was long before word reached Maria's ears. She approached me, pale as a ghost, and attempted to talk me out of it.
But you had enough danger from one life. Come on, forget about all this revolution stuff. We can build a new brothel and just stay low for the rest of our days. Does that sound really sound so bad? You're the only friend I've got left, Jacopo.
She was practically begging, which she almost never did. While I sympathized with her, Maria's desperation did nothing to try my resolve. Before long, the day was finally upon us. Hear me, my fellow citizens, who live in suffering at the hands of your supposed lord. Within me flows the blood of the previous lord. I am the rightful heir. Behold, the Barnier's golden ring, proof that I am of noble birth. Victims of this terrible tyrant. The time has come to start anew, and I shall be the one to lead you down that path. The poor, the hungry, the deprived. All of you, stay with me! Before he commenced to strike in the Lord's manor, he gave a little speech in the city square. Not because we actually needed them to take up arms and fight with us, but because we needed to make a public proclamation of our position before overthrowing the Lord. They needed to know we're not merely opponents of the Lord, but proponents of the common man. That we had a legitimate cause, a legitimate claim to power. We were to leave them in the dark when it sowed confusion, and rest when word of the Lord's death came out. They had to see us as the liberators, nor a greater evil swooping in to squash a lesser one. The Lord had been squeezing everything he could out of them for years, sucking them dry, so I didn't expect anyone to actually have the willpower to join us. The important thing was that they knew who I was. I had underestimated them. A slow trickle of people stood to join us. By the time we were at the city's edge, we had accumulated dozens of additional men, transforming a little uprising into something of a much greater scale. The people had begun waiting, day in and day out, for someone to take up their banner and lead the way. It didn't matter that the one holding the banner did so under false pretenses. Avalon.
Brooders! We are under attack!
Yeah!
Aw.
Get him! Avalon.
Hello? Hello? Oh.
Without his support, our forces rendered the manor's defenses practically useless. Townsfolk flooded property, overwhelming even fully armored soldiers. Farmers turned their tools of their trade into deadly weapons, plunging all manner of spiked implements into guards' necks. It didn't take long for the pungent stench of blood to fill the air. Panicked servants scrambled away from the chaos as quickly as they could manage. I made my way through the corridors to the great hall, where the Lord presumably waited, crouched at my side.
We're here to relieve you of your head, Lord.
Have these savages removed from my property immediately.
Yes, my lord. I guess I shouldn't be surprised defenses are heaviest here. Watch yourself, Gratien.
You can shove that concern right back where it came from, kid. I ain't about to let a bunch of mooks do me in. No number of these pansy little fuckers is enough to take me down.
Is there any situation capable of tampering that big mouth of yours? You can handle all the guards then. I'll take her to the Lord.
You wanna take the prize for all yourself? Hey kid. Normally I'd tell you to piss off, but I'll give you this one. It's what the people want besides.
Thank you for understanding.
But remember, if you screw the pooch, I'll make sure you're the laughingstock of the whole city.
Don't worry. His head. The fact that Barnier was still here suggested he knew he had nowhere safer to flee to. Unlike the slave revolt 3 years prior, we were entirely unoffensive this time. He didn't appear particularly perturbed by this predicament, though he likely had little doubt he would make it through the day safely. I knew Barnier was skilled with a sword, despite Gration's talk. The guards he kept by his side were hardly going to be third-rate. They would be the best of the best. Praying Gratien would be able to hold him off long enough, and we went away through the wall of armed men. Marching straight for Lord Barnier, he slowly drew his sword, readying himself for combat.
Well, imagine that. It's you again. I had assumed you had died off in a hole somewhere.
Hate to disappoint you, but staying alive is one of my few talents.
How fitting for a filthy maggot.
Well, hope you're ready to be devoured by the very maggot.
It would seem your tongue has gotten rather sharp since we last met. Though I needn't remind you how this played out 3 years ago, do I? Your blade will never get anywhere near my head. I will, however, give you a good reminder of precisely how feeble and you slum rats are. Within me flows the blood of the royal family, direct descendants of God himself, while your blood is made from the refuse of the earth. We are no more the same species as a worm is a wolf. Your very being in my presence is a light of the highest order.
I think you're fine. Our blood is much more similar than you think. When I take that ugly head off your shoulders, we can both get a good look at how equally filthy your blood is to mine. I'm not the boy I was 3 years ago. I'll drag you down from your throne high and show you for the dregs of the earth you really are.
You dare insult me, cur!
We traded strikes, going on offense and defense in roughly equal parts. Barnier was quick on his feet and quicker with his blade. When I attacked, he swayed effortlessly out of his path, like a stalk of wheat in the wind. And when he attacked, he was like a typhoon. He had a prowess that could never be overcome with brute strength. However, I now spent the last 3 years idle, when I could hardly imitate the refined swordmanship of a trained noblesman. I had a much better grasp on how and when to most effectively put my weight into a swing, how to maintain the ideal amount of distance between us. And there was one other key difference. I had no intention of running. If I would take off his head, I would end up with a bloody heap on the floor. There's no other way this battle could end.
Think about what you're doing, slum rat. About who you're pointing that blade at. An attack on me is an attack on God. It is an act of unspeakable sacrilege.
Huh. A little too late to take a more high ground. You're not afraid of dying? Then put your tail between your legs and start running.
You insolent! I am the rightful heir of the Barnier family. The blood of the kings of old flows in my veins. And I am the ultimate ruler of this land and my people. I would never condescend to turn my back to a worthless rat!
Well, don't say I don't give you the choice. That just means we're going to keep on doing this until one of us is dead. Every swing, every step, every slight shift of balance had a little more weight than the last. But unlike last time, where the pressure had only served to light a fire under me, it was now building up inside me, growing, taking form. I could now perfectly trace the path of his blade, dancing through the air. Back then, the only advantage I had over Barnier was physical strength and pluck, but things were very different now. He was agile, but I could keep up with him. No, I was beginning to overtake him. Huh. Let me borrow your words, if you would. Perhaps you should save the snide yapping for when you have the skill to back it up.
Don't get cocky, you insignificant rat! You treacherous cur!
Yeah. The Lord strung down at me with all his strength, and I managed to parry the strike with little trouble. In that moment, I had undeniable power. Power. That's right. I wasn't powerless. And I could never let myself be powerless again. Ever. If I didn't manage that, then I deserved to rot here as the weak, worthless man I was. I had the chance, here and now, to take out not only the Lord, but the me of old as well. The helpless, impotent boy who couldn't even protect the ones he loved. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll show you that I'm not who I used to be. That I'm not that slimming little boy from 3 years ago. Before long, Barnier was coming up against the far wall.
You impudent worm!
We were both breathing hard, dripping with sweat. The air seemed to waver like there was a fire burning between us. A fire fueled by our own souls. And that heat extended to the entire hall, in stark defiance of the cold winter sitting beyond the walls. Perhaps the room had transformed to one of the halls of hell itself. Where's your god now, huh? It's time to end this. Your time deserves to come to an end, Barnier! I readjusted my grip on my sword, repositioned my feet on the hard floor, lining everything up for my final strike, and then threw a little extra fuel on the fire, before breaking into a dash. However, Nika.
Wait!
Huh? What? Last person I expected to see stood there between me and the Lord, bringing me to an emergency stop just moments before I would have taken off his head. Ceren? Before I had been running at full speed, I staggered, once tripping before catching my balance. She reached out, placing her hand on my shoulder, pleading at me with the eyes the color of early spring leaves. I could see myself aghast, reflecting in those eyes. I shouldn't have stopped. I shouldn't have hesitated, for any reason. I should have knocked Ceren to the side and taken off Barnier's head. But a torrent of questions rained down on me, entangling me from head to toe like a spider's web. Why? How? What was Ceren doing here? Why did she ask me to stop? Why was she standing between me and Barnier? No. This hit me like a bolt of lightning. Only 4 people survived the raid on a brothel. We had prepared a safe room underground in case of emergency, and the stairs down were hidden beneath the floorboards. Yet Maria said they were found quickly, and most of the girls taken captive. You didn't. The attack had been well organized and large scale. Could the aroma of the herbs, which was strong enough to be smelled outside, have been some kind of signal? How could you? How could you betray us? What came out of my mouth was not words, though, but a pained, visceral wail. But overpowering everything else I felt, was paralyzed in shock. The blade sticking out of Ceren's chest pierced my breast. A blood flowed down opposite ends of the silver edge, melding into a single stream. I completely lost any sense of what was happening, left only with crushing bewilderment. Barnier let out a deep, bellowing laugh from behind Ceren. The sound resonated through the blade in his hand. I could literally feel him mocking me from inside my body. Why? How could you do that, Ceren? No. How could you? Barnier! Ceren had double-crossed us. As much as I didn't want to believe it, I no longer had much of a choice. She claimed she had thought of us like family, but in reality, she was colluding with the Lord. She was the one who had brought ruin upon the brothel. I couldn't reconcile with what I saw with what I thought I knew. I couldn't forgive this kind of betrayal. And I couldn't even begin to comprehend Barnier's actions. How can you hide behind her when she stood up for you? How can you so readily cast her aside? She saved your life. How could you do this to her? What are you laughing at?
Look at the girl. Look at her face.
What? Why was Ceren... How could she possibly smile about any of this? What was going through her mind? Has she gone mad? I never seen her like this. Wait. Yes, I had. I knew that smile. All too well. When the realization struck, an almost painful chill crawled up my spine. Ceren was always smiling. She could break the ice with anyone in no time. She brought laughter wherever she went. She was endlessly cheerful and sincere to a fault. Flashes of time together rushed through my mind. She was...
Presumably, you're thinking the girl's gone mad, but that isn't quite right. No. She's been mad all along.
What?
Could anyone in their right mind keep smiling after seeing their parents murdered and being sewed off? Could anyone in their right mind genuinely believe they don't have a sorrow in the world? Could anyone in their right mind be smiling with a sword sticking out of their chest?
I can't.
The girl's immalleable with mirth is but a different shade of madness. If she weren't mad, she wouldn't be smiling. Ceren lacks the capacity to comprehend negative emotions.
That can't be. She's compassionate, empathetic. There's no way she doesn't understand those emotions.
It's called good old-fashioned hard work. She pretends to show compassion, despite the fact that others' pain is incomprehensible to her.
No, I refuse.
You can't tell me there haven't been moments where you've seen the seams in her act.
In one of our conversations, I asked Ceren, "Have you never felt like you got on the short end of the stick?" To which she had responded, "I don't even know what a stick looks like. Then my wish end is a short one." But I assumed she had either moved on or her threshold for happiness on the low side. The scale she waited on was outright broken.
To tell you the truth, I'm rather fond of the girl. After all, I am a madman myself.
I wanted to shut out his words, to act like we saw a crazy blather, like I didn't see any truth in it. But all the proof I needed was staring right at me. Ceren was smiling, as bright as genuine as ever. The same smile she always showed us. As blood streamed down the blade of my chest. Still, I couldn't believe it. Still, I couldn't accept that she had chosen this man over us. You said the thought of us like family, Ceren. What happened to that? What happened to all our time together? You would throw it all away for him?
Jackie, remember what I said?
Excuse me?
That I had my eye on someone.
And?
I love you, Jackie, and everyone else at the brothel. But there is someone I love even more. You know, I'm not the cleverest girl. I can only see what's right in front of me.
How impossibly idiotic could I be? She never had an eye for me. Her heart had always belonged to Barnier. I was being presumptuous when I assumed she was talking about me at the festival. Why him, though? Why this man of all people? I fell to my knees, but I managed to hold my balance long enough to stagger back. When the tip of Barnier's blade slipped from my chest, the blood that I'd been holding in seemed to rush out all at once. With it went everything I was feeling.
Some revolution this turned out to be, rat. As a parting gift, I'll let you in on a little something. The girl was my pawn from the very beginning. An informant sent to keep me apprised of anything that might spark opposition. If someone's amassing wealth illegitimately, I have them killed, or forced to surrender all their assets to me. If someone says something disagreeable about me, I have them hanged. That scheming wench, Ginevra, was it? It is probably at the bottom of a river by now. But, it would seem I failed to keep everything under control, seeing as you're still breathing and dragging a pack of mindless peasants around with you. That's only a minor inconvenience, though. All I have to do is take off your head. And then, without their leader, they'll regress back to the ignorant swine they are. Now, it's time we put this ludicrous revolution to rest.
Barnier shifted backward slightly, began to pull the sword from Ceren's chest. She moaned, the sound a mixture of agony and ecstasy. I thought I could hear the flesh ripping as the blade passed through it. I should have been ready myself to fight again, to brandish my sword and take the bastard's head. But I couldn't move an inch. Everything seemed to grow distant. My spirit was on the verge of collapse. The fire that had been ablaze within me had been snuffed out in an instant. Countless memories crumbling before my eyes. The word death flashed through my mind, but it brought with it no fear, only vast hopelessness.
Don't you?
As the last of my will threatened to slip from my grasp, I heard a voice.
Remember what I said?
What?
That I want to be together with you forever.
Huh? What do you think you're doing? Let go of the sword, Ceren!
Lucidity came rushing back to me. A split second later, I understood what she meant, what she wanted. I didn't give myself a chance to consider where that road might lead, if I wanted to walk it down, if I come to regret the decision. It was the right thing to do. There was no time to think, only act. I couldn't let this opportunity go, so I shut everything out. My mind, my looming conscience, my sense of right and wrong, my heart. I shoved aside every possible distraction, rekindled a near extinguished fire of my rage, let out a visceral howl. And sprung. I could feel the impact of my arms as the blade tore through flesh and bone. Ceren's lifeless body dropped to the floor with a thud. And it took my blade, ripped a gash in Barnier's throat. A geyser of blood erupted from his neck. He bent over, writhing in agony, and staggered back a few steps before his legs gave out and he dropped to his knees. His eyes were wide open, wider than I thought possible. He brought both hands up to his throat to stem the flow of blood. It did little to help, the crimson stream seeping through the gaps in his fingers. With each beat of his heart, the flow surged, setting up sprays of lifeblood.
Oh, it's impossible!
I was right. Noble blood and peasant blood all looked the same. Grunting and groaning, Barnier pawed the floor, evidently still convinced he could scamper off and escape somehow. He left behind a trail of blood as he crawled. It was, by all rights, over. However, there was still one last thing to take care of. I marched over to the Lord and placed my foot on his back, slamming him down to the ground. I'm not leaving without your head. I know it's Ceren to reunite you.
Well, wait. If you kill me, the neighboring counts are sure to intervene before you even realize what's happening. Put down the sword and I'll spare you.
You'll spare me? You're in no position to be sparing anyone. You're either a fool or a hopeless optimist. You're not a lord anymore. You have no power. You're just a sick worm. If it counts, there won't be an issue. I've been taking over for you, after all.
Is that so? And how are you planning to do that? You're a peasant.
Ginevra entrusted me with a ring that bears the Barnier's family crest. I used that to make myself out to be a successor to the royal family.
And what will you do once you've faked your nobility? You have no experience, not the faintest idea how to be a lord.
I'm sure I'll govern better than you ever did.
You're out of your mind. A peasant like you couldn't govern an empty plot of land.
Not that being a noble makes one or any more qualified, as you more than clearly demonstrated. I'll take your seat, and then I'll take the world.
Ludicrous. Think very hard, boy. Killing me will be a mistake you can never fix. Put down the sword.
Does death frighten you so much you would die to beg for your life, Lord? Like I said before we began, though, the only way to end this is one of us dead. I pressed my sword against Barnier's nape, then leaned it into hard. The blade sank into his flesh, the gash spreading like a crack in glass. Screams of agony echoed through the hall. All the blood in his body seemed to be trying to escape through the gaping hole, creating an ever-growing pool of blood around us.
Before long, you too will be driven to madness.
Excuse me?
By the time you've figured out what it means to be a lord, you won't be the kind-hearted friend of the people anymore. Living this life, having no one you can trust, it'll eat you away. It went away at you, and then you...
Enough.
You'll be your own executioner!
Enough! I'll be waiting for you. Yeah. Oh.
Down in hell!
Here! Every guard and every rebel. I'm here. I have here the Lord's head, taken by my own hands. You have no reason to fight any longer. Put down your arms, all of you, and cease this meaningless battle. Our revolution has come to pass. In less than a day's time, the Lord's men had fallen. By the time it was all over, it felt almost underwhelming how completely and utterly we had conquered them. Men cheered and shouted in celebration. Others borrowed a suit of armor and pretended to be knights. A fire of a different color filled the manor's walls. They believed that, with the Lord's death, everything would suddenly be better for everyone. That nobody would have to suffer anymore. They would all be happy and live perfectly fulfilling lives. They had no logical reason to believe as such, yet no one seemed to doubt it in the slightest. Everyone seemed to have forgotten that enacting change required work. There was still much of that to be done. The entire rest of the day, the men partied and celebrated, paying no heed to corpses strewn about their property. Even the injured joined in, nothing could stand in the way of their merrymaking. They raised goblets to my great accomplishments, and I smiled along. Though their fiery passion could not penetrate the cold bubble that had formed around me. Though the real fervor I had felt all day was while I crossed swords with Barnier. And now, my head was surprisingly clear. Perhaps clear wasn't quite right. It was stagnant. I felt as though I was suspended in a dark sludge, Barnier's dying words hovered around me. By the time I figured out what it meant to be a lord, I wouldn't be the kind-hearted friend of people anymore, he had said. They would have no one to trust. They would eat away at me, drive me mad, and then I would be my own executioner. Again and again I tried to tell myself that I wasn't like him, that I wouldn't end up like him. But his voice, his curse, refused to leave me. Images of his decapitated head flashed through my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that one day, it would eventually be my head.
Well, there you are, kid. Been wondering where you ran off to?
Oh, Gratien.
How goes it? That sure ain't the face of a man who just pulled off a goddamn revolution. You wasn't hurting? I've got something that can make the pain go away, if you want some. Ah, there we go. Here she is. Take one of these leaves and grind it up. You start tingling right to the back of your head in no time, and all the pain's gone, like it was never there. It's some pretty good shit. If you don't mind getting a little loopy for it anyway. But after all that, it ain't like you're gonna need to think straight for a while, so what do you say? Take a few?
I think I'll pass. It does hurt, but I can handle it.
Then why the long face? You're a hero now. People are gonna be looking up to you. And that ain't a great look. What's with the big rock? I don't remember seeing this here before.
Please don't touch it. It's Ceren's gravestone.
Ah, so that's what's got you down the dumps, huh? I mean, I get it. I sure as hell didn't see that one coming either. Talk about a shocker. Sweet little thing like that in her bed with the Lord. Woman can be fucking crazy creatures at times. I don't even want to think about what kind of shit she was scheming. Why she get all chummy with us.
There was no mask, no facade, no scheming. She was always just being herself.
You out to your mind, kid. She played us for months, not the teeniest hint. If that ain't a facade, I don't know what is.
She never believed herself to be lying to us. Assuming Ceren generally didn't grasp the concept of sadness or fear, and she was incapable of experiencing negative emotions, then it does kind of add up. She loved the Lord while also enjoying her time with us. To her, they weren't mutually exclusive. To her, feeling both was not wrong.
Well, it looks like you're a lot better arithmetic than me. Cause that don't come close to adding up in my head. Or maybe you just don't want to accept that it was all a big fat lie.
Perhaps. I'm not Ceren, I don't know what she had with the Lord, so all I can do is speculate. And perhaps I do merely want to believe that she was part of the family. Gratien, could I ask you to keep this from Maria and other girls?
You sure?
Regardless of what Ceren's actual feelings were, I don't see any reason to sully their memory of her.
Fair enough, I guess. Not like the dead can make their own case, so the least we can do for the ones they left behind is not taint their memory. Unless someone knows how to bring them back, that is.
Indeed.
You sure everything's good, kid?
What are you so concerned about?
I mean, this is yours now. When we leave, you'll be staying here. And I just want to make sure you're really up for it. If you want, I could take your place.
Pardon?
If you think being in charge will be too much to handle, I'll gladly take it off your shoulders. Hell, we both know I'm more of a fighter than you. I could have taken Barnier out without him getting so much as a scratch on me. What do you say? I'll do it.
Don't be stupid. The whole city would be savages by year's end and you were in charge.
Just offering you a way out, kid.
It's my burden to bear, no intention of passing it off. I'll have myself back in order by tomorrow.
Well, if you say so. But don't forget, you're in this for the long haul.
Don't worry, I can handle it.
So, do you have any specific plans moving forward? The woman you were conspiring with, Ginevra, wasn't it? They offed her, didn't they?
Here's hardly the only noble hoping to see Barnier overthrown. I just started building up a solid foundation of supporters among the nobility.
Do we really need the deck squad on our side, though? Why don't we just cut ourselves off from all that crap and start our own country? A place just for us. No royalty or nobility to rub us blind. Just our city.
That would be ideal, but unfortunately, it isn't quite so simple. We can't just overthrow the Lord, take over the city, and build a big wall around the borders. Without a clear, legitimate transfer of power, the neighboring counts will undoubtedly intervene.
So we fight back? What's the problem?
A little band of peasants was only able to take down the Lord because we had the element of surprise. What happens when a trained, organized army marches on our borders? No need me to answer that for you.
World's kind of a massive bitch, huh? But it's a hell of a lot better than having old Barnier in power, I guess. You'll change things for the better, though, won't ya?
You have my word.
Great. So, Jacopo. I know we'll be parting ways here soon and all, but I want to know. I want you to know. I'll never forget this day. We crashed the gates of hell together and made the devil a bitch. It don't matter how far we are. Nothing will change what we've been through. So let's make this city into the best goddamn city around. You from the top, me from the bottom.
Yes. Let's. It's a great comfort to know I have you down there. I've got a deal of trust in you.
I won't disappoint you, kid. And don't you ever hesitate to give me a shout if you need something. When we first met, I kinda wanted to throw you off a cliff, and you still rub me the wrong way sometimes. But I also consider you one hell of a partner. And I mean that. We risked our lives for each other. Brothers in arms.
Thank you. I too consider you a good comrade. You and the rest of the gang.
Ah, I was beginning to think he had never come out and say it. Now, remember, kid? Don't you let us down with this, or you'll be hearing from us, capiche? I know you can do it.
I won't let you down. It'll all go fine. I've allies. Friends I can count on. With their help, I can change things for the better. I can believe in myself. I can do this. I had no reason to think otherwise. This fluttering in my stomach is nothing to be concerned about. When that fated night came to an end, the vast bright blue sky of morning greeted me. I looked up at the sky, standing in a manner that still reeked of blood. Morgana filled my thoughts. If she were here now, what would she say to me? Congratulations? So unlikely I let out a little laugh. She would undoubtedly criticize me for seeing some power through such violent means. Her lips would twist into a scowl. She would damn me to hell for the thousandth time. She would tell me that what I had done was extremely foolish. Perhaps she would also express some concern about my injuries. It was all in my own imagination, though. She'd never be at my side again. We would never look up at the same sky again. I'd never hear her sing again. My old life was gone, a relic of the past. Would never be the same again. Not without the girl I loved being part of it. Jordan, go ahead.
You're in the mood for something juicy, you say? Hate to break it to you, chum, but I ain't made of dough. I'd like a nice slab of meat as much as the next bloke, but I'm barely making do as is. We all are, in case you hadn't noticed. What? You're not hungry? You just want a juicy story to go with your drink? Then why didn't you just say that to begin with? Give me a sec. I think I got one that you'll like. Few months back, me and a bunch of other blokes went out on a raid. This puny little village. They didn't do much trade, just living off what they could grow, so no one could have figured we could make out with much. Grab a little grub, play with some of the girls. That was the best anyone was hoping for. Business as usual. We killed the guys, had some fun with the girls, then killed them too. Nothing too interesting, nothing real exciting up to that point. But that changed when I busted into this one house. There's a man, a woman, and a little girl, maybe 5 years old. No siblings, just the girl. Real small family for a village like that. Dad comes in to protect the girl. Then Ma tries to block my way. No surprise here. I killed them both. Couple unarmed farmers. Easy as snapping a baby's neck. That left the kid. Wasn't like she could do nothing, so I didn't have to kill her. But you know how these stupid things get, crying like it's the end of the bloody world. So I figure, I'll run her through before she starts howling on me, right? But get this. The kid smiled at me and said, "Where are you from, mister?" Couldn't believe my ears. Yeah, your parents were just killed by me. I'm coming to kill you next. How the hell are you smiling? And how the hell are those the first words out of your tiny little mouth? Creeps me out, truth be told. So much so I lost all interest in killing her. So I took around for anything worth taking and then went on my way. But this damned kid, I tried to leave, and guess what? She fucking follows me. Doesn't want revenge or nothing, just smiling like a fool. Patient bloke. But this was beyond the pale. I yelled at this stupid thing. Why the hell are you following me? Piss off. And she gives me this confused look and says, I'm bored. Everyone else stopped moving, so I've nothing else to do. But you're still moving, mister. My damn head was spinning. She was maybe 5, yeah? I could understand her being a little stupid. She should have known right wrong enough to know to be scared of me. You'd have to be out of your mind to come trotting after the bastard who just offed your parents. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what her problem was. She wasn't right in the head. I tried to get her to piss off, but she wasn't hearing it. The other guy started talking. Maybe we should just neck her, right? Then one guy says with a big smile, what say we take bets on what it'd take to make the kitty cry? So we did just that. We started placing bets. Give her a good yell and she'll cry. Knock her around some. That'll do it. I say, yank out a tooth or two. Rip off her nails, one by one. And finally, pow her till she breaks. We went round and did everything we could think of. Our absolute worst. Not like we ever pretended to be good people, but it ain't every day you see a bunch of grown men taking turns knocking the hell out of a 5-year-old girl. And hell, that by itself a good drinking story if I ever heard one. But it keeps going. She never cried. No matter what we did. Not a once. You would groan and twist her face when we hit her, so she did feel pain. But even that was only for a second. After that, she back to smiling like an idiot. Tell you the truth, she seriously creeped me the fuck out. I wanted to just end it there and forget all about her. But the rest of the guys, they started to took a liking to her. Wanted to bring her back with us. I tried to talk him out of it, but one guy, he says, "What's the big deal? Ain't like we're adopting her. We'll have some fun, and when we get bored, she's gone." And it's pretty damn hard to argue against that. If I kept fighting it, I looked like I was trying to be the good guy or something. And so now we've got this kid and the kid's name. So I ask her and I get this. She says, "I'm me." Dead fucking serious. Now, like I've been saying, the girls always never made much sense. But this was on another level. So I press her. "No. What's your name?" But she just tilts her head and says the same thing. "I'm me." "So you're saying your name is me?" I ask, and she gives me this big fat grin and nods her head. Who the hell names their kid me? Parents seem like reasonable folks. They at least care enough to try and protect her from me. They just run out of ideas trying to come with a name for her, or what? As I'm thinking to myself, I see there's something sewn into the bottom of her shirt. Looked like writing, but I can't read for shite, so I call over the only educated guy in the crew and have him look at it. Turns out, it was a name. Ceren. "Your name ain't me. It's Ceren," I say. And she lights up like a fucking village we just got through with. "Really? My name's Ceren? I never knew." I let out the biggest sigh of my life and I say to her, "You're the dumbest broad I've ever known." About a month after we picked the girl up, we had a bit of trouble. There's this chubby bloke by the name of Marcos, and he starts getting this thing for her, yeah? I ain't one to get on my guy about what gets his rocks off, but a 5-year-old girl, that just ain't right. Marcos was kinda slow in the head, always at the back of the pack, and mostly useless when he went out doing jobs. Only reason we kept him round was cause he made a good packing mule. He was annoying as all hell besides. Always saluting and saying, "Aye aye," like he thought we were a bunch of pirates or something. And he called everyone boss, because apparently that was the only form of respect he knew. Day after day, "Oh, aye aye boss," and "I'm on it boss," and "let me massage your back boss," was enough to drive a man mad. And cause he was the first one to talk to her, Ceren started imitating him. So now we got 2 buffoons running around talking like that. Obnoxious as it was, though, end of the day, that's all it was. But that changed when Marcus started getting really fond of the girl. Every little thing we did, he'd go around telling us to be nicer to her, yeah? But as far as we saw it, compared to when we first took her in, we were treating her pretty damn well. Of course, that's all relative. A proper slave probably still got less hell from their master than what we gave the girl. But remember, we only brought her along so we could have fun. We never intended to make her part of the crew. But Marcos wasn't having any of it. Son of a bitch actually snapped at us. "You pay if you don't stop right now, boss." Idiot wanted a fight, so he gave him a fight. The whole of Octopus beat the ever-loving hell out of him, stomped his face in so bad you couldn't even recognize the poor bastard anymore. But that wasn't enough for him. His face a big bloody mess, Marcos said, "I won't let you lay another finger on Ceren, boss." Tell you the truth, I didn't think he had the sack. Then Ceren comes trotting in. Assumed she heard the ruckus and wanted to see what was up. Marcos' eyes went wide and he yelled, "Stay back!" But the girl, she just stood there. Same old stupid smile on her face. Seeing her come in, one of the other guys smirks, plops his arse down on Marcus' back and holds a knife up against his neck. And he says, "Hey, Ceren, you like Marcus?" And with a big grin, she answers, "Aye, boss." Through the swollen, bruised up mess his face was, you could just barely make out Marcos smiling. Next, the guy on his back says, "Then, would it make you sad if we roughed him up a bit more?" "What do you mean, rough him up?" "Cut off his fingers, scoop out his eyes, you know, have a little fun." "Fun is fun. Why would that make me sad?" "You hear that? I ain't making this up." The girl's standing there, smiling, and Marcos, he goes pale as a ghost. And he did it. He cut off his fingers. Ceren's still smiling. He gouged out his eyes. Still smiling. And finally, he slit Marcos' throat. Even as the blood spraying right into her face, she never once stopped smiling. Just before he kicked off, Marcos looks like he was thrown into the deepest, darkest pit of despair. I've seen the hope drained from God knows how many men's eyes, but that was on a whole nother level. And as you can imagine, I wasn't the only one Ceren creeped out anymore. Everyone felt the same way. She was so messed up. We all thought we might start turning on her if we kept her around any longer. So, next city we land in, we sail Ceren off. And we all lived happily ever after, minus one twisted little girl. What do you think? Juicy enough for you? You feel sick? Sorry about that, chum. Thought you had a stronger stomach. I do wonder what Ceren's up to these days. She's still smiling like an idiot, or